You're listening to Wellness Junkies.
where wellness gets real, not perfect.
Welcome to Wellness Junkies, where we try all the wellnessy things, spill the beauty tips, and have real conversations, all with a side of fun.
We're in it learning together with you.
I'm Amy.
And I'm Katie. Let's get into it.
Hello, and welcome back to Wellness Junkies. It's Amy, and I am very excited for today's conversation with Jackie Goldschneider, who is, and you probably know her mostly from Real Housewives of New Jersey, but we're going to be talking about lots of things today. And let me give you a quick bio on Jackie for those of you that are not as familiar with her. Jackie Goldschneider is an author, activist, speaker, and longtime cast member of Real Housewives of New Jersey. Before joining the show, Jackie was an attorney and freelance journalist and has contributed to publications including Good Housekeeping, Huffington Post, USA Today. Her debut memoir, The Weight of Beautiful, which I cannot wait to read, was published by Simon & Schuster in September 2023. Since then, Jackie has been a nationally recognized advocate for eating disorder recovery, and I'm really excited to tackle this topic on the show. We really haven't talked about this, and I think it's a topic that doesn't get talked about enough. So really excited to get into that. And also just outside of that, thank you for all your work with Jewish advocacy and all the things that you do on behalf of us Jews. You know, it's just really nice to see someone with your status, represent us and just appreciate that. So,
Oh, well, thank
welcome
you
to the
for all
show.
of that. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So, before we get into some of the questions and just conversations around this topic, I always like to start out with a weekly high, just to kind of ground us in how our week was. It doesn't have to be anything major, but just something that brought you joy. I can start. So, I would say mine this week, well, really last week was Thanksgiving. I hosted and had all my family here, but mostly my son, who's a freshman at college, came home, and it was like the first time he was home since he moved in August. He's in school in Colorado, so just nice for him to come home, and I just felt like whole again. It's been amazing because he's had such a good semester, but now I just have one home, and it's been quiet. And so when he came home, I was like, oh, the house is full again. So
Oh, I
that was
love
my
that.
high.
Yeah, that hits
Yeah,
home for me because two of mine are looking at schools now, and I can't imagine how much quieter my house is going to be. And I'm going to miss the chaos, but it is so
I know.
nice to have the holidays when they all come home.
I
Um,
know.
I think my high point this week was I just recently went back to um, freelance writing again because it used to
Oh,
bring me so much joy and I stopped for a long time. And I finished an article this week that I think is just so great. And I'm just really excited to see where it lands.
oh, I love that. That's so good. That's so good to like do stuff that makes you feel like yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Okay, so let's get into what you've been doing lately and just give us a little bit of your background and kind of talk through. And for those of you who don't know Jackie's background, she'll explain it, but she's been doing a lot in the space of eating disorders in the last few years and
Mhm.
bringing it to light. So kind of tell us a little bit about your background and how what age this started affecting you and what influenced it, and sort of just give that background.
Yeah. So you wanted the background in terms of like eating disorder.
Yeah, I mean, you can also give a background of your life if
No,
you
no,
want,
no.
but like
Do you want me to start like cradle to the grave? How it all came about?
however you like to talk about it. Yeah, I
Okay.
kinda wanna get into it, yeah.
Well, I was always, I think my eating habits were pretty normal until I was a teenager. And then when I was 13, my life kind of took like a dramatic turn. And I was very, very lonely and sad. And high school was really bad for me.
Mm,
And during high school, I gained a lot of weight. And I think during those years, I started to associate being overweight with being really sad and being lonely and being alienated. And that association really didn't leave my mind. My parents are very loving, but they didn't, I don't think they really understood what I was going through. And no one really ever taught me healthy eating habits. And so, I would start yo-yo dieting throughout college. I was on Weight Watchers on and off and on and off. And then I became anorexic at the age of 26. And before I knew it, had just spiraled so far that I developed such a fear of eating and a fear of food. And I didn't know how to stop. I didn't know what resources there were. I didn't know anyone who had gone through this. And so it was just a secret world inside my head for a really, really long time. And my anorexia, full blown anorexia, lasted until I was um 45 years old. So
Wow. Oh
26
my
to
god. I just
45,
got chills.
I was
Wow.
anorexic and it when I did recover, that's why I wrote my book, is because I felt like this is what I would have needed when
Yeah.
I was searching for some answers. Um, so that's the long story. I've been in recovery for 4 years now, and it's the greatest gift. Even though I was older and I wasted a lot of time on this,
Yeah.
such a gift that I was able to recover in my mid-40s.
It's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank
I
you.
can't even imagine what it must have felt like having that in your head for that long. It almost becomes who you are
Yeah.
and you can't I mean, it's so like in terms of this book, I'm sure people have come out of the woodwork to talk to you since you've written this book. So like what are some of the misconceptions about eating disorders you wish more people understood and like what have you been surprised about since you've written this book?
Well, I think the biggest misconception, what I wish people understood, is that eating disorders are not really about food. I mean, of course, there's some component of that, but they are mental illnesses, which a lot of
Yeah.
people get scared to say. But
Yeah.
it's a mental illness,
Yeah.
and it can't be cured by just giving someone a sandwich. I mean, my poor mom would beg me to eat, and she'd offer to make me turkey meatballs, and I would just get angry and think to myself, "You just don't understand. I don't want your food. If I wanted food, I could go get food." You have this mental block, all of these things that you're trying to fix by not eating. And so I wish people understood that it really takes, a mental health professional in addition to a dietitian to really help you through to help you truly recover. Um, so that's the biggest misconception, and I wish people understood that, because then I think that they could, help their loved ones or anyone who's struggling a little better.
Yeah, and I think I mean, I it is a mental health illness, and I think that now mental health is more on the radar and this falling under it, hopefully. I do think it gets, like, this misconception, right? Like, people are like, "Oh, just eat." Like, what's the
Right.
like, they don't think of it as an actual, like, mental disorder. It's not like you're doing it on purpose. It's, like, literally. So, um, when did you since you were struggling for so long, when did you like, how did you decide to get help and seek help? I mean, I saw some of it, obviously, big fan, watched the show, and I saw you kinda going through the process there, but obviously a lot goes on behind the scenes. Like, did that help or hurt you? Like, how did you, like, come to the conclusion that you're, like, finally gonna get help?
So, deciding to get help was something that happened off camera. Before my fourth season had started, I sort of hit a rock bottom on my own. I mean, I hit a few rock bottoms, if that's possible, throughout the
Ugh,
course of this, throughout the 18 years, but um, my health was not doing well. And my body hurt. And I was just, the older I got, I just didn't know how much longer I could live like that. And so I had an incident where I was running through a lot of pain. Part of my eating disorder was a lot of exercise that I had to do in order to give myself permission to ingest calories that day. And so running was non negotiable, but I did have a leg injury and I was trying to run through it and I was in so much pain. And I
mm,
just when my workout ended, I was just on the floor, and I remember thinking, am I gonna be, like, 65 years old and doing this still? And then I realized in that moment that, like, I might not even make it to 65 if I keep doing this. I do know people who have died of heart attacks, very thin
Yeah.
girls, and people say, "Oh, she was in such great shape. I don't understand how that happened." And I just realized then and there that I didn't wanna be a statistic like that, and the first thing I did, because this was my secret, you couldn't talk to me about it, you couldn't approach me about it, and the first thing I did was open up to my husband about it, because I knew once I had opened that door, I couldn't shut it again, and once I told someone I needed help, I couldn't take that back. So, that was really the moment I decided to recover, and then I realized that if I was gonna do this, I wanted to do it as publicly as possible so that the most people possible could, find their way to recovery through my story. So I called the producers of my show. I said, next season on my storyline, I want to recover. I want you guys to help me. And they were wonderful. Bravo was amazing.
Yeah. That's so great. What did your husband say when you talked to him? Because obviously he knows you the most and you've been married for so long. Like, was he, I mean, obviously, I'm sure he was super supportive, but like, did he know you had an eating disorder or did he
Yeah.
just think
I
you were a
mean,
picky
it
eater?
was impossible not to know. I didn't
Right.
eat with my family. I never shared food. I, um, I would measure everything in the house before I could put it in I mean, he knew, but he learned to live with it, but I think he was, of course, so happy for me because, he didn't wanna be a single father to 4 kids, that's number
Right.
1. So, he was happy that I was, doing this for myself, but also my eating disorder controlled a lot of things in our lives. And you wouldn't even think of these things, but it really controlled everything. It controlled what restaurant we would go to, what time we would eat, what kind of vacations we went on, what kind of hotels we would stay in,
Wow.
um, what time we could do things in the morning. There always had to be time for my workout. Um, it really controlled everything. I was not comfortable doing anything that made my eating in an uncomfortable place. Like, I couldn't go to a hotel that didn't have a gym that had multiple treadmills. Like, I couldn't it was really bad. So, I think he was very relieved to start, um, living a life with more freedom.
Yeah, I'm sure. And it was probably like you said before, you couldn't talk to anybody about it when you were going through it. You just like I'm sure he felt like he couldn't even help
There are a
you
lot
because
of
you
reasons. Well, first of all, I
yeah,
didn't think anyone would understand because nobody talks about eating disorders.
right.
So, I thought if I opened my mouth and I said, "Hey, like, I just can't eat, like, I'm so scared of food," people would think that I was crazy, you
Yeah.
know? And especially after becoming a public figure, not like I was an A-list celebrity, but, like, I didn't really wanna get made fun of on the whole internet, and I didn't know how people would respond to it. So I really never spoke to anybody about it. Also, like many people with eating disorders, I didn't think that I looked thin enough to, validate, admitting that I had an eating disorder. I thought if
Oh
I
my
did that,
gosh.
people would say, "Well, you're not really that thin," you know?
Oh
And
my god.
I just didn't know how to react to that, so I didn't wanna take a chance. So I never and also, I was so scared still, so scared of going back to what I was, because I thought that if I had gained weight, I wouldn't be able to stop gaining weight, and I would just gain tons of weight, and, this was pre-Ozempic, by the way, this was 2021, and I just thought, like, whatever I'm doing now is worth it because you know, I'm pretty, and I have a lot of friends, and I have a handsome husband, and if I stop all of that could go away and I could be, teenage Jackie again. And I just was so scared of
Yeah.
what might happen. And all of those things all together, I was just like, you know what? Forget it. Let me just keep going.
Yeah, and, like, throughout the years, did your friends and husband and parents, like, try or they just, like, didn't even wanna go there?
It's really hard
Yeah.
to, like, people ask me all the time, like, what can I say? It's really hard to approach somebody who you're not sure if they have an eating disorder. You don't really know what to say. My husband had tried a few times, and I shut down the conversations really fast.
Yeah.
My mother didn't care as much. I mean, she cared about me. She didn't care as much about, like, me yelling at her, you know? So,
Right.
she would say to me, "Please eat something. Please gain a little weight." You know, like, your mom can say that, your friends can't really, you
Right.
know? So, she would try. My husband had tried, my mother tried a few times, and then, people give up when you stop giving them
Right.
anything, you know?
Well, and to your point, it's like you have to be ready to talk about it. No one's going to be able to do that for you, kind of like an alcoholic, right? Like no one's
Yes.
going to change until they hit rock bottom and they
Yeah.
decide for themselves, I'm going to seek help.
Mhm.
So, what did your help consist of? Was it, you said, a therapist, a dietitian? Like, what's the process like for someone who's listening and may
So
think, like, I need help?
yeah, so the first thing I did was go to the Renfrew Center, which is one of many eating disorder treatment centers, and, I did a whole consult with them, and they're fantastic. They have an outpatient, contingent. They have inpatient, they have outpatient, and, they did a whole intake with me and really thought that I should go residential, which I was not going to do because I mean, my 4 kids were little at the time,
Yeah.
they're they were only, 11 and 13, and I wasn't leaving them. I
Right.
needed something that I felt like could last for me, and that wouldn't last. I would be in there counting down the seconds until I could get out, and
Yeah.
so I asked them to work with me on setting me up with an outpatient, mental health, specialist who specialized in eating disorders. And they sent me 4 people, and I called them, and I connected so well with one who I still speak to every single week. She was
Amazing.
on the show. She was the same person who was on the show,
Oh, okay.
Eileen, and, and then about 2 months into my work with her, we added, a dietitian, which people don't understand that there's a big difference between nutritionists and dietitians. A dietitian is, much more, goes through much more schooling and nutritionists are great, but dietitian, can really help you through an eating disorder if they specialize in it. They have a lot more education on this. They know medicine, they know the way the body works, and the dietitian that I got, I still work with every other week, and she was fantastic, and the 2 of them, for about 3 years, I had both of them every single week, and I really committed to this, and it was very scary at times, and it's still scary at times, and I take baby steps, and those baby steps have really taken me very far, and I am not fully recovered, and I don't know if I'll ever be, and I used to say, of course, I will be one day, and I hope that I will be one day, but even if I'm not, where I am right now is so good, and I wanna keep moving forward. As long as I don't go backwards, I'm really happy with my progress.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations. I really admire your strength. It's it's must be just really, really hard, and I'm sure, I mean, you're setting such a good example for so many people, but also for your children.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I did set a very, very bad example for them for a very long time, and I know that, and I admit that, and, I'm hopeful that they see how I am now, and they don't, try to emulate anything that I've done to lose weight. The landscape is different now with diet drugs. I think that, you don't
is
have
it good or is it bad? I don't even
I mean, it depends who you ask. I do see the value in the drugs for people who absolutely need them, but I know an awful lot of people who don't need them and who are on them.
yeah.
And so, I just know what's right or wrong for me. I worry more. I don't worry in the micro about like individuals who are on them. I don't care. It's your body. Do what you want. I worry about um, what kind of message we're sending to our children, to the next generation,
Yeah.
especially of girls who, I have a 15-year-old daughter, and I don't think that there's any adults, let's say reality TV, right? I don't think there's any adults on reality TV now who are overweight, any women.
I
And
know.
when you look at who society is telling you are beautiful women and all of them are thin, you don't think there's anything else acceptable but to live in a thin body, and I just hate that for the next generation of girls.
I know. I agree, and there was definitely a wave for a while of and there still is, full-bodied and, like, bigger models and things, but I feel like since the whole Ozempic thing, it's gotten, like, more in the background, and some of those people have lost weight, so you're like, "Well, wait, I thought you were so proud of your bigger body, and that's how you were, like,
Mhm.
made," and now
Oh, yeah.
it's very tricky.
Oh, yeah.
It's
For sure.
I
I
mean, I have
mean, like,
boys, I
and
don't
we
have
can name
daughters, I
them.
don't
I
have to
mean,
worry,
like, when I saw Amy Schumer go back on and when I saw Lizzo, I was like, "What?"
I just saw a picture of Amy Schumer the other day.
And she's getting thinner and thinner, and, like, if that makes her happy, great, but, it just makes me sad when somebody was, like, proud of who they were and were fine with what they look like, and then,
Yeah,
you
and
know
everyone's story is different. Like, I think Amy
Yeah.
Schumer, I wanna say I feel like she has endometriosis or
Yeah, I think she
or
I think
PCOS, and I know that there's been studies that, like, if you have PCOS, it's good to be on those drugs.
Yeah,
Totally fair, and maybe that's why
yeah.
she's on it, but
And that's why I don't
I
care
did see those
like,
pictures and
whatever
was
you do,
alarmed.
I do know a number of people who 2 years ago were saying how dangerous they think the drugs are and are now on them.
Oh,
So,
yeah. I
I
mean,
just
listen,
wonder sometimes.
I've been on them too, like,
Yeah,
everyone has, like, on and off, especially
yeah,
going through menopause and when all of a sudden you've, like, never gained a pound in your life, and then you eat something and you gain 10 pounds. I'm like,
yes.
I never, like, thought about that stuff, and
It's
then I was like,
hard.
"What the fuck's going" It's
It is,
hard.
it's hard,
It's
and it's
hard.
also hard it's especially hard for me for 2 reasons, because number 1, when I started recovery, I was really looking forward to coming back into a world where everyone around me ate like a normal person, and I didn't come back into that world. I came back into a world where a lot of times I would go out to dinner and be the only person eating, and that was very, very hard for me because
That's crazy, yeah.
I would look around and say, "I should stop. I shouldn't be eating. Nobody else is eating." And so, that was hard, but also recovery is really hard. And I make a choice every morning to eat food and to eat like nutritious whole food
Nourish your body,
and
yeah.
to, you know, go out to dinner and eat real food and take a chance that I'm going to wake up and be heavier. And I know that I could skip over all of that if I went on one of these drugs, and I choose every day not to.
Yeah,
Because that's not the relationship with food and my body that I wanna have. I wanna
yeah,
learn how to, eat when I'm hungry and stop when I'm not. I wanna learn how to enjoy good foods. I don't wanna numb my hunger. I just want to live clean, and I not clean, but, like, I have a lot of health issues still from anorexia,
yeah,
and so I am on a fair number of medications to just because I really messed up my body,
yeah,
and so I just don't wanna be on anything else also.
yeah. I think it has gotten so out of control, and I think to your point, it's for people who need it, and now for people that have an eating disorder or a tendency to have that, it just makes it so much worse. Like,
Yeah.
I think, I've been on in the past. I have no sort of eating disorder. I was sort of experimenting, especially because, like, for the show, I like to like do everything. Um, but I could see how you could completely spiral with that drug if you had the mental state of having an eating disorder. Like,
I
yeah.
think also
Although
knowing
I
that
didn't find
I was
myself not eating from it. I just
right,
maybe didn't eat as much, but I like still ate. I'm like an eater. I still ate. I just maybe didn't eat as much?
but and then you went off of it?
Yeah. And then sometimes I like to do a micro dose just to like lose a
Yeah,
few pounds, whatever. It's
yeah.
more the only reason I like it actually is like I've noticed when I'm on it, my body feels less inflamed.
Oh,
It's
really?
not really the weight, it's like the inflammation.
Well, I
But I
think,
think everybody has their own story with it. I just
yeah,
think it's for people that like, I have the right mindset because 'cause I'm not I don't care like, I just have never thought about eating. It's just I've never, like I was thinking about this morning. I grew up as a dancer, and I was around all these, like amazing, like long and lean, whatever. And I'd always be like, oh my God, they look amazing. But I never like thought about food. It like didn't, it just was like, I just ate and I had a normal mindset. I'd never even thought about it. When I moved to New York, my first roommate, I don't know if she had some sort of eating disorder. And I didn't realize this. And we were at dinner and I ordered a burger like I normally would. And she was like, oh my God, I can't believe you're ordering a burger. I was like, what do you mean? Like, didn't even occur to me to order like a salad or something, whatever. And she was like, oh, I would just never eat a burger. And I was like, and it was the first time in my 20s that I had been with someone who mentioned what I was eating. And then, like, now that I'm older, I pay attention to what I eat, but it's just so interesting when, like, you just don't, some people are just not thinking about it. And some people their whole life are struggling with it and looking at what everybody's eating.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
And that's my other worry with the drugs is that it could give somebody who had a pretty normal relationship with food, it could give them an eating disorder. Because you really I mean, in your case, maybe it's different, but, most people can't go off of them without gaining the weight back.
yeah.
So um, I worry about people getting hooked and people getting obsessed with thinness and people who really didn't have that issue before suddenly realizing they can't live without them.
Yeah.
So, from where I stand as an eating disorder recovery advocate, that's scary for me.
Yeah. And it to your point, like for the people that have diabetes, for the people that are
Morbidly obese?
morbidly obese who are unhealthy and have to lose weight, it's a different story.
Yeah,
But
for
it's
sure.
just it's really gotten out of
Mhm.
control.
Right.
Um, so like how do as parents, right? How would someone recognize that their daughter or son might have something going on? Like what are some signs that
Yeah.
us as parents should look for?
I think if your child is making excuses not to eat, that's the number one red flag. If they are leaving the dinner table after taking a few bites, if they're skipping meals, making a lot of excuses, suddenly eating a really restricted diet, all of those things are signs that they are on some kind of unhealthy eating plan in their
Yeah.
I think also, like, if they lose a lot of weight, very suddenly, if they seem really preoccupied with their size, if they seem, with bulimia, if they are going into the bathroom after their meal a lot, um, if you hear something that doesn't sound right, if you notice, anything different about their teeth. You know,
Mm,
those are all things that, are red flags, but the number one is a preoccupation with food that wasn't there before and
yeah.
skipping meals.
Yeah. And what would you say, like, if you are a parent or even a friend? Because I just feel like in my 20s, like living in New York, there was like a million people that you're like, oh, that person does. Like, how do you even approach it? Because to your point, I'm sure someone that's struggling, like, is like, oh, I'm fine. I don't want to talk about it. Like, what do you do? Do you stay quiet? Do you wait till they come to you? Like, what's the best way to approach it, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, when it's your child, if they're under the age of, I
That's
think,
different. Yeah.
17, you can put them into treatment.
Yeah.
Um, so that's different, and I think whether it's your child or your friend, the most important thing is not to have a not to go to them with judgment, t
Yeah.
to more go to them with, compassion and ask, is there let's take the child out of it because when it's your
Right.
child, you
That's
can
different.
so I think with a friend, it's a really hard conversation to have. I would say, you could say to them, if it's your close friend, you could say to them, "I get worried sometimes, um, I just want you to know that if you ever have a problem that you wanna talk to me about, I will be here, I will help you, I'll help you find resources." And I think if you leave it there just to know that somebody is waiting to help you could be a really great thing. I mean, I nobody had that conversation with me, and then, I in my early 30s, I saw a therapist. I was looking for a therapist for something totally unrelated, and we did not hit it off, and at the end of the session, she said to me, "Do you have a problem with food?" And I said, "Excuse me?" And she said, "I'm gonna give you a number of somebody who might be able to help you," and just having the number And I was so angry and I walked out and I was so embarrassed, but having that number felt very comforting to me because I felt like
Yeah.
there's someone who could help me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good advice. And, like, have you, since you've been so open about it and written the book, have people just been coming out and wanting to tell you their story, I would imagine?
It's not that they wanted to tell me their story. People were desperate and still are. I mean, at the beginning, of course, I would get like thousands of messages. I mean, after
Yeah.
that ice cream scene aired on the show, I got so many messages. Not people like patting me on the back, and more so people desperate to help people that they love. Like
Yeah.
I got a lot of men saying, "My wife is struggling. How do I help her?"
Oh,
Moms with kids in college saying, my daughter, I don't know how to help her. She's so thin, she won't eat." So a lot of people really, really desperate to help people that they love, which broke my heart, but also at the same time made me really proud. And I think that's what made me want to be so vocal and work
yeah.
with I work closely with, the National Eating Disorder Association, and I really try to do everything I can. I try to answer messages from people. I really try to help because it's so secretive and there's so much shame and people really don't understand it.
Yeah, and I think with people seeing you, they feel like, "Oh, I'm not alone in this. There are other people that think all these thoughts that I think," and, like,
Yeah.
hopefully,
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's very admirable. So, what what are some of the things that you're doing every day, daily habits, rituals that are supporting your mental and emotional well-being? I know you're speaking obviously still to your therapist and dietitian, but what are some of the things that are keeping you, you know,
Yeah.
sane?
Um, I think one of the most important things is human connection, right? So I
Yeah,
make a lot of time to spend. I try to carve out time every week to have um special time with my family, but also special time with my friends.
yeah,
I love being with my friends. And I think that's so important. That to me, for me, when I have a good mix of family time and friend time and like a girls' night every week,
the best.
I just feel so much better. You know, life is short. I remind myself of that all the time. I try to think about what I'm grateful for because I do get lost in my thoughts a lot of times and I can go down a rabbit hole, especially since my show went off the air. There's a lot of uncertainty about my career, and my career was always very important to me. I was a lawyer, and then I was a journalist, and I was always successful. And, then I was on one of the biggest shows in the world. And, it hasn't been on in 2 years. And if you sign on to social media, you see like every day, there's a different story about who's gonna get hired back and who's not gonna get hired back, and it can drive you absolutely insane, and, the friendships on these shows are very tenuous, and there's a lot of fighting, so, um, I think that I can get very upset over not knowing what's going on with my job, and so I have to really, like, carve out time to figure out what I enjoy and to do it. So I really just went back to I'm writing my 2nd book now,
Oh, amazing.
which I love.
Congrats, that's
It's
awesome.
fiction. This one's fiction.
Oh,
And I went back to freelance writing. So, writing is really my greatest passion. So I've been doing a lot more of that and, seeing friends and trying to really slow down and do a lot of advocacy, like you said, Jewish advocacy and eating disorder advocacy and, you know, fill my days with purpose and with fun. And,
yeah.
that's
How
it.
do you figure out what to, because you share a lot so openly and vulnerably, how do you decide what you're gonna share and what you're gonna keep private?
Um, you mean on the show or on social media?
Um, well, the show we'll get into in a second because I have lots of questions about that, but social media, I guess.
Um, if there's a lot of other voices talking about it and better than I am, I don't really go there. I don't do a ton of videos because
Mhm.
it's just not my strong suit. But I know what only I can tell you from my own experience. So those are the things that I'm happy to talk about. Um,
Yeah.
I know what I feel strongly about, but if it's something that's going to get me like if it's if it's something judgmental about other people, I won't go there.
Right.
And if it's something where I don't really know what I'm talking about and I'm trying to fake it just for follows or views, I don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's flip it to the show. Um, on a lighter note. So, yeah, what is going on with the show? I didn't even realize it's been 2 years, but I know like the last reunion was like no one was talking. It was like crazy. So I like is the show even coming back or you just don't know?
No one knows for sure. I do think it will be back one day, but I have no idea when. I think that from what I've heard, they were close to figuring out casting and then it fell apart. So you never know.
Yeah.
We the last time, we had that one off like fake reunion. Um,
Yeah.
but aside from that one day, um, the last time we really filmed the show was October of 23. So it was a really long time ago.
Wow.
So I've gotten used to life without it, but I still stay in touch with several cast
Yeah,
members.
I was gonna say, are you like weren't you close with Melissa? Or
I
who's like your
used to
close?
be. No, I'm
Yeah.
closer with Teresa.
Okay.
I speak to
Oh,
Teresa,
right. I forgot
but,
about all
like,
that.
none of the women
So
from the
crazy.
show are, like, my best friend in my life every day. I've
Right.
really my life has transitioned back to
Like your
normal,
normal friends.
but
Yeah.
I am friends with some of the women from the show. So, if it came back, it would be natural, like, I'm still friends with them, but, there's an awful lot of fighting on the show, so friendships
I
fall
know. Like I was
easily.
gonna ask you, was it harder? I mean, I'm sure there was so much positive things about the show too, but is it like is it like harder to be on the show or not? Like, especially with all the eating stuff, like, I don't know. Like,
The eating stuff, yes, I was so happy to be on the show because it gave me a measure of accountability that I never had just by
yeah.
myself. I could give up really easily when I was trying by myself to recover. But
Yeah.
when, a million people a week are watching you, you can't give up that easily.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the show is often very, very hard. There were more times than I can count that I would come home and cry.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to
is it like what parts I always like I watch all of them and I'm always like, what's real, what's not real? Like, is the scene staged? Do they tell you what to
no,
say?
everything
Or
is
is it
real. They don't tell you what to say. And I will say there is nothing quite so stomach turning as going into a scene and realizing the whole thing is going to be about attacking you. There's nothing I mean, I guess if you're, like, older and you don't have, like, you have one adult kid like, if you don't have people really who, like, are little and in your life like, if you don't have a husband who gives a shit about it, then, like,
yeah.
great, do whatever you want, make a fool of yourself, fine, but I have
Yeah.
so many people looking at like, in my life who weren't really into it. And so when I would get attacked and be sad, or if I would say something embarrassing, like it really reverberated onto a lot of people in my life that
Yeah.
weren't asking for this. So it was very hard sometimes.
Yeah.
Really, really hard. Yeah.
Yeah. But I always loved you on the show because to me, you were like one of the most authentic. Like you just were
Thank you.
you. And I like, I was like, oh, I could be friends with her. She seems like someone that would be in my
Yeah, I
community.
mean, I did love it. Listen, if I didn't love it, I wouldn't have gone back 6 years, I was
Right.
on it for 6
Right.
seasons, so and I would still go back, so we'll see what
Yeah.
happens with it. Either way,
I
I'll be
hope they
fine.
ask you back because I think you're a really important person to have on the show, not only because you're authentic and real, but because of what you're going through and how much attention you're putting on this very important topic, especially for young women, but also for the Jewish advocacy. There's just like not a lot of that stuff on the show. It's,
Yeah,
sometimes fluff and, you
yeah,
have a deeper meaning behind you. So hopefully they will ask you back. We'll have to wait and see.
we'll see.
Um, so let's transition into, well, really quickly, how just back to Housewives for 1 second. How did your kids, because they were little, right, when you were on the show, how did they react to you being on such a public platform?
They didn't have a choice. at first, like, how they react, they didn't seem to really care.
Yeah.
Um, what they enjoyed, they didn't they didn't really care about filming. They didn't really care about seeing themselves on TV. Um, they didn't love sometimes having to skip, like, a practice or skip plans to film.
Yeah.
Um, but they enjoyed the perks, you know?
Yeah.
So, they would complain about filming, but then if we, go to a Jets game, they'd get to be on the field before the game starts, And so
Right.
I think that they
They're
didn't
like not
really
too shabby.
yeah, they didn't really correlate the 2, but, they didn't mind the show. They liked it. They never had a bad experience really on there.
And what about your husband, Evan? He's so cute. He
He's
seems
so
like the
cute.
sweetest, most supportive guy.
He first season was not into it, wanted to film as little as possible, and then he really liked it 2nd and 3rd season. No, I should say 2nd season. He really liked it. He was close with the guys, and then, it was like rumor gate his 3rd season,
Yeah, that was
which
insane.
was the worst thing ever, and really a lot changed after that. He just didn't really wanna be a part of it much
Yeah.
anymore. Um but, he's totally over that now. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, that was not fun for him at all. It wasn't fun for us at all.
It was awful,
It was awful.
but you handled it well.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get into our wrap sessions. We're just gonna ask you some quick questions and some quick fire answers, okay? So, what is your favorite wellness or beauty hack?
Okay, I have 3 beauty hacks that I absolutely love, and I love sharing
Ooh,
with people.
yes, please.
The first one is Lumify. I know I'm not these are not like affiliate links, nothing. I don't get paid for any of these. These are just what I love. Lumify is this eye drop that really makes your like eyes bright
Yes,
and
I've used them. They make them like bright
they
white,
are
right?
it's so amazing. Like anytime I go out, I put them in and like my eyes just shine. Okay, so that's number 1.
That's a good one.
Number
Yeah.
2 is I think if you do some really light, delicate freckles, they can make you look so much, like, more youthful. So my favorite product is one called Freck.
Uh-huh.
Um, you could buy it on Amazon. I don't love Sephora, but you could buy it at Sephora. Um, you just, like, put a dot and then, like, put a few dots and, like, you don't overdo it, and people I get compliments all the time. People are like, "I love your freckles. Like, you have them in the winter?" And I'm like, "I have them whenever I put them on." And then, my last one is, tubing mascara. If you're not using
Hmm.
tubing mascara I mean, my eyelashes, I don't know if you can see, but they are
They look great.
long. Like
They do look really
yeah. Well,
long.
I'm also on, a serum called, oh god, I always forget. It's the prescription one. And
Okay, that like lengthens.
yes, it's so no, it's just it's like a lash growth serum.
Yeah.
And, I just put it on at night, like, I just swipe it across, and
Yeah, I mean, your
between
lashes look
that and the tubing
amazing.
mascara, my eyelashes are literally out to here.
Yeah, no, they look
They're just amazing.
amazing.
Those are my 3 favorite beauty hacks.
What's the tubing mascara that you like?
Thrive. I don't think there's anything as good as
I
Thrive.
haven't tried that. Okay, I
It
need
is
to try that.
so good, but you can only order it online. I don't think they sell it at stores.
Yeah,
Thrive
no,
is
I've been
the
wanting to
best.
try it for years. I've just never tried it. Okay,
Yeah.
good to know. No, they look amazing. Okay, and the next one we call our 5-minute flow. It's like you get up in the morning, Uber's coming in 5 minutes. Like, what's your quick, like 2 to 5 minute beauty routine? Like, what are you throwing on to just get out the door and get in that Uber on time?
I am such a big perfume person, so I don't go anywhere
Mm.
without a scent on.
Mm.
So I'm putting on perfume. I am a big hat person. So I'm either throwing on a base I have a probably 20 trucker hats that I go or
Yeah.
I have 2 beanies that I, like, live for. So I'm throwing on a hat because I
Yep.
probably didn't do my hair, and, throwing on a little bit of powder and eyeliner, and that's probably all I'd have time for.
Good to go.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. What is the one product you've repurchased more than you can count?
Oh, I have, like, 400 empty containers of the foundation that I use. I go through one, like, every few months, and I've been using the same one since I'm in my 20s, and so it's
Stop.
from MAC, and MAC used to take back the empties. I think
Yeah.
they still do, so I still save my empties because you can turn them in and get, like, 1 product for, like, every 10 empties.
Yeah.
So, I have, like, 1,000 containers of it's just this MAC full coverage foundation in, like, a little, like,
Yeah.
container.
Okay. Good one. Mac is, like, so good, right? All
Best,
their products just like yeah.
best.
Okay, and we sort of talked about this before, but how do you maintain your daily nirvana? Like, how do you keep it all together? What's, like, the thing you do to
Um,
stay peaceful?
I don't. I am rarely in a state of nirvana. I I wish that I could be. So
And when I say that, I don't mean, like, the
yes.
ultimate state. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
what do I do
you
to get
know
to ground myself?
Yeah.
I, well, I spend time with girlfriends.
Yeah.
I try to never say no. If somebody texts me and says, "Wanna come with me to walk my dog or wanna meet for coffee?" I say yes because I know how good it is for me.
Yeah.
I really stop and say, "What's gonna make me feel good right now?" Sometimes it's writing.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's getting on the phone with a friend. Sometimes it's organizing a drawer, you know? Sometimes, when the weather is nice, I love to just go for a walk.
I know, it's the
Yeah.
best, as it's
And
cold
talk
and
to
snowy here.
therapists. In fact, I had such a good session this week where I was, really, like, trying to figure out what am I doing, like, professionally? What's gonna be amazing? If the show doesn't come back or if I don't come back, what can I do that's amazing, that's amazing? And she said to me, "Jackie, not everything has to be amazing.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's good enough if things are just good." You
Mhm.
and I just love that. So just
I like that,
little
yeah.
things that just remind me that not everything has to be like explosions and, amazing all the time. That like good enough sometimes is just good enough, you know?
Yeah, I know, you kinda go back to the basics, you're like, "Thank God I'm healthy, I woke up today,
Yes.
my kids are healthy." It's like, y
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's a really good reminder, I love
Yeah.
that. And where can everybody find you? I know you're on
Uh,
social, but, like, give us all
uh,
the things.
yeah. So I'm like not really on TikTok. I do have a TikTok account that I rarely post on there or go on.
Yeah.
I'm on mostly Instagram at Jackie Goldschneider, and I'd love if you follow me and you could see all my content. And um, I'm on Facebook, Jackie Goldschneider,
And
and
your book, I'm assuming, is everywhere?
well, my book is everywhere. The easiest, I guess, is Amazon.
Yeah,
It's called The Weight of Beautiful, and
great
hopefully
title.
in a few months I'll have a new book to announce. Just waiting.
Yeah, what's that book gonna be about? Oh, well, you can't tell
It's
because 'cause you're still
fiction.
writing it,
No,
and it's fiction.
it's sort of like a psychological thriller.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's really, really fun to write.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love that. Well, congratulations, and
Thank you.
thank you for joining us. It was so great to have this conversation. I'm so, you know, proud and, um, it's just wonderful to see someone like you putting in such effort to help people and to share your story. So, I appreciate it, we appreciate it, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. This was really fun.
Yeah,
Bye, everyone.
yeah. Thanks for listening to Wellness Junkies. For more on today's episode, follow us on Instagram at Wellness Junkies Official and find us on TikTok and YouTube at Wellness Junkies. You can also head to wellnessjunkiesofficial.com for expanded show notes, product links, and more. If you love the episode, leave a review and share it with a friend. We appreciate the love. Catch you next week. Bye.